Imagine stumbling upon a Reddit post that details every part of your life, down to the things you've never shared with anyone. But it gets worse, because the post was written in real time, and it seems to know your next move. Is it someone watching, or something far more sinister? I found a Reddit post detailing my life, and it's not from me. I was never someone who shared much online. Sure, I had social media accounts and a few friends on Reddit, but nothing more than the occasional comment here or there. That's why it was so disturbing when I stumbled across a Reddit post that seemed to detail my entire life. I couldn't believe what I was reading. But there it was, a detailed, step-by-step account of my life, my past, even my recent events, all on a thread labeled r/unexplainable events under the post title, "I know everything about you." It started innocently enough. I'd been up late one Friday night, scrolling aimlessly, when I noticed a post in my recommended feed with my name in the title. It was a name that was unique to me, so it immediately caught my attention. Curiosity took over, and I clicked on it, expecting some weird coincidence or mistaken identity. The post began. "Hey, my name. I've been watching you. I know everything about you, and I'll prove it. Do you remember the time you lost your favorite toy on a camping trip when you were 7? You cried for hours, thinking it was lost forever, but then you found it in your backpack the next morning." My stomach twisted. It was an incredibly specific memory, and I hadn't told anyone that story in years, maybe ever. I scrolled down, my pulse quickening as I read on. "You still hate tomatoes, and you still won't eat them, even though you've tried a few times to get over it. You're allergic to bee stings, but only learned that the hard way when you were 12. And, of course, there was that time in college when you almost drowned, saved only by a stranger." My mind was reeling. This was impossible. None of these things were online or public in any way. This was personal. Inexplicably, my entire life was laid bare on a public forum, accessible to anyone. Worse yet, whoever had written it clearly knew intimate details no one else should know. I glanced at the username, u/yourwatcher9. Their profile was blank, no posts, no comments, and no additional information. It was as if they only existed to post this single thread, tailored specifically for me. Then, the post took a darker turn. "Do you ever feel like you're being watched, even in your own home? That's because you are. I know what time you leave for work, what you eat for breakfast, and which shows you binge on Sunday nights." I froze. I had never been paranoid, never thought much about security, but the detail was chilling. I felt eyes on me even though I was alone in my apartment. I instinctively locked my door and closed my blinds. Just as I was debating whether to delete my Reddit account, I noticed an update had been posted to the thread. "I know you're reading this, and I see you just locked the door and closed the blinds. Nice try, but that won't keep me out." My heart stopped. I hadn't even paused between reading and locking my door, and yet they knew. They were watching me in real time. A flood of fear washed over me, and my mind raced through the possibilities. Was this someone I knew? A stalker? Someone from my past with a vendetta? I looked around, expecting to see a camera hidden somewhere, but I was alone, surrounded by the eerie quiet of my apartment. Desperate, I scrolled to the comments to see if anyone else had noticed the post, or if someone had an explanation. But there were no replies, no upvotes, and it felt like the post was visible only to me. I checked the timestamp, posted only 2 minutes ago. The precision of it was terrifying. The descent. The days that followed were torturous. Every time I logged on to Reddit, there was a new post waiting for me, each one even more disturbing than the last. The posts described my daily routine with chilling accuracy. If I spent an evening out with friends, it was detailed in the post. If I had a conversation with a coworker, it was recorded and written out word for word in eerie clarity. At first, I tried ignoring it, but the posts didn't stop. They multiplied, detailing events in my life as they happened. I was losing my mind, terrified to step outside or do anything that could give Your Watcher 9 more content to post. Then, one night, the updates got personal. Your Watcher 9 began mentioning secrets I'd never shared. They referenced hidden fears, private thoughts, and even dreams I'd had. They even mentioned a particular dream I'd had as a child, a nightmare about a dark, shadowy figure standing at the end of my bed. The dream post was particularly disturbing because I hadn't had that dream in years. But as I read it, I felt a creeping sensation wash over me. That night, I dreamed of the figure again, standing silently in the corner of my room, watching, its eyes never leaving me. Confrontation and desperation. I knew I had to do something. I reported the posts, contacted Reddit support, but nothing came of it. The posts wouldn't disappear, and they were only visible to me. I took drastic steps. I quit my job, I changed apartments, and I stopped using social media entirely. For a while, the posts stopped, and I felt a fleeting sense of relief. But then, one morning, I woke to find an email with no return address. Subject: New post for you. Running only makes it more fun, my name. You can change your life, but you can't escape my eyes. I couldn't take it anymore. I stopped eating, couldn't sleep, and rarely left my apartment. I was utterly isolated, and the silence only made the paranoia worse. The final post. One night, as I lay on my couch, a notification popped up on my phone. It was from Reddit, a new post by Your Watcher 9. My heart dropped, but I forced myself to open it. This post was different. It didn't contain any information about me, no description of my day, no chilling threats. It was short and concise. I'm closer than you think. Look behind you. I didn't want to, but I couldn't resist. With a trembling hand, I turned slowly, eyes darting around the room. Nothing. Just the empty darkness of my apartment. But as I looked closer, my eyes adjusted to the shadows, and I could just make out the faint outline of a figure standing by the doorway, a figure that seemed all too familiar, like the shadow from my childhood dreams. Before I could scream, the lights flickered out.